Hey, electronics and coding, sorry I am not able to be in class today. What I want you to work on today is the intro to the IR remote activity. Okay, few notes. Um, okay, what do I want to say here? Okay, we have an IR remote. It is actually different than the IR remote that is in Tinkercad. So this is this introduction to the IR remote working in Tinkercad. So if you go in and tinker this sketch and you pop out the code, you'll see that we got a lot of code here, and the gist of it is that the IR receiver right here is receiving hexadecimal codes from our IR remote. And we've got this structure down here, a switch case structure. So the cases are the hexadecimal codes that are received or sent by the remote and received by the receiver. So if we start the simulation and we press, for example, 0, then we see 0 printed down here because the hexadecimal code 0xFD30CF was picked up by the receiver when we pressed the remote like this. And the same is true for all of these different cases. Okay, so that's easy enough. However, if you just take this code and you load it onto your Arduino and try to use it with the remotes in your kit, it won't work because the hexadecimal code that our remotes are sending out are different than the hexadecimal codes that are working in Tinkercad. So back to this activity. If you go back to the intro to the remote, there are a couple things you can do. You can figure out the hex code. This is kind of cool, where if you load this code onto your board, you open up the serial monitor, you start the simulation, instead of printing the numbers when you press the different buttons, it will actually print you out what the hex code is. So you can load this onto your Arduino, figure out the hex code for your working remote in your kit, and then load that hex code into the sketch. Or if you're feeling lazy, I have made you a sketch here that is not going to work in Tinkercad when you start it up. It will not work in Tinkercad the way that you want it to, but this is the correct hex code, or these are the correct hex codes for the remotes that we have in our kit. So while this is not working in Tinkercad, this sketch, if you load it onto your Arduino, should work with the remote we have. So this is why it says working for IR remote, but not in Tinkercad. Okay, that is all. By the end of class today, I would like you to record a Flipgrid explaining what you built and show off your working circuit in real life. Remember that I'm looking for a remote that controls some sort of actuator on your board, which could be a motor or a light or the LCD screen. So printing something out. If you could get all three going with your remote, that would be awesome.